without further ado, let's check in with the one and only Kevin Lee. Kevin, there he is.
How you doing? How fast the world changes.
This is crazy, man. 2 weeks ago, you're in the airport. You're a little bit down. Now you got a massive smile. You've changed up the facial hair. The hair is looking great. You've leveled up.
Yeah. We that's what the day is about, you know? It only took 2 weeks, too. Imagine what I'm going to do in the next 2 weeks.
Man. Okay, so congratulations. By the way, I didn't want to bother you today. I know you're out there hobnobbing with Khabib and everyone. You know, I felt like it was a lot to handle, so that's why I didn't reach out. But of course, look at me.
I give Ariel the scoop. I give you the scoop, and then all of a sudden I get snubbed.
No, there's no snub. Like, come on, man.
What's going on?
There's no snub.
Either that, or you're trying to have me as the special surprise guest.
There we go.
Which I guess that's what we're doing, huh?
That's what we're doing. The special surprise guest, the Motown Phenom. Okay, so tell us, how did this all come together? What happened? We talked to you 2 weeks ago, literally on the show. You're in the airport. You're sad. You're down. You just get the papers. You don't even get a phone call, for God's sakes. You don't get a text. You get nothing. You get an email. How does this happen? Why Eagle FC? How did it all go down?
Really, it happened on the flight back from that flight that I took. I took that one. I went over to a Caribbean island, kind of, to get myself back together. Felt like I did that. A lot of things happened that kind of gave me back my confidence there. I'm walking through airports and I'm in a totally different country and people are recognizing me left and right, here and there. And it reminded me like, I might not be a UFC fighter, but I'm still him. When people come up to me and they're like, "Are you Kevin Lee?" Yeah, I'm still him. And I've got all these experiences. I've got all this stuff. So that gave me my confidence back. As soon as I did, I fly back here. I get a call from Ali to even just say that this is a possibility. I had a bunch of other different offers on the table, but he made the offer sweet enough to where it made sense to do it.
Wow. So who are you, who are you weighing? Who are you deciding to join? Who is in the mix here?
I want to say it's like maybe 4 different promotions.
Okay.
I'm not going to promote them right now because they ain't pay me enough.
Yeah, let's go.
So it went with Eagle FC, and I feel like with Khabib backing it too, and him already being a champ, him already being a fighter, him already knowing the type of shit that we go through, it made him stand out even more beyond any of them other promoters.
Now, I must say, when I first heard this news, and we talked about it a bit when you were on the program, I mean, you have had an interesting relationship with Khabib. You chased this guy for a long time. You've talked about the Dagestani fans. You tried to go after Islam to fight him as well. I mean, for the most part, it was respectful, but you wanted to beat these guys. Yeah. Now you're in business with him. What's that like?
Yeah, it's different. It's crazy how the world works. I mean, a big reason why you ask for a fight like that is to gain his respect, right? After the fight, then we're going to shake hands and do all this and have some respect. And now it's like I can get that in a different way with being business partners with him. I feel like we can accomplish a lot in this sport and we can do a lot that these other promotions that I fail to mention, like that they just ain't doing. And I feel like we could take them all over. So it made sense. It's our past was never really like one built on animosity, to be honest with you. It was more so I saw what he was capable of way before anybody else did and way before he became a champion or anything like that. That's why I wanted to fight him. And I see what he can do now as being a promoter after his fighting career.
I saw you on the dais earlier today at the press conference, sitting next to him, somewhat surreal sight. Was today the first time that you ever actually met him?
Yeah.
Wow.
First time I actually ever met him in person.
Wow.
We didn't have to go into I wanted to fight you and then now we cool. We didn't even have to speak on all that. You could just kind of tell off a man's eyes sometimes what the message is behind it. And I'm gonna let the action speak for I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna shed some blood for him. So
all good. No, it wasn't awkward. No tension. Nothing like that.
No tension. I mean, Khabib's a respectful guy. He gets a lot of respect for a reason. So there's no tension, no nothing like that.
Your manager, Markel Martin, told me that part of the appeal of this deal is that you're going to be paid in Bitcoin. Is that accurate?
Yep.
So how did that all come about? Was that your idea or their idea?
It was a joint idea. Markel's part of CAA. with the best agency in the world, the biggest. So, you know, I've been investing in them since 2017. After my fight with Tony, I invested in Bitcoin all the way back then. And it honestly, when I had the knee surgeries, it saved my ass because I forgot about that money. But then when Bitcoin blew back up, that gave me some money to live off of. So it's something that I really believe in, and really believe that's honestly going to be the big future. So to be the first MMA fighter who has a deal, a deal worth millions of dollars in Bitcoin, the first one, there was some appeal to that for me.
Now, could I ask, and you know, if you can't answer, I respect it, is the entire deal in Bitcoin or is it partially in Bitcoin?
It's entirely in Bitcoin.
Wow.
Entirely. Yeah.
That's wild.
But it's it's a equivalent to US dollars.
Gotcha.
But it's entirely in Bitcoin.
And you're cool with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I take my money anyway and invest in it. So now I'm just cutting out the middleman. And you know, Bitcoin is something it's global. So, you know, if I do fight in Abu Dhabi, I do fight in Moscow, I do want to put on these big fights that we're partnering with, it's just go straight to Bitcoin. Why go through US?
How many fights on the contract?
First one is 4-fight deal.
Okay. And it's exclusive, right? No bouncing around?
Yes.
Okay.
There's some room for co-promotion in the future.
Ooh.
And I think that's going to be something that changes up the game. You know, it's about time that mixed martial arts kind of get on board with the rest of combat sports. I mean, boxing has done it for so long, you know. I couldn't tell you who Terrence Crawford promoter is. I can't tell you who Anthony Joshua promoter is. I can't tell you who these guys have behind the scenes, but I know those guys, you know, and it's about time that MMA and mixed martial arts get on board with that. You know, it's no longer I'm just a UFC fighter. Like, no, now I am Kevin Lee, you know. So co-promotion is a part of that.
I love that. And I hope that day comes in the future. And that's not throwing shade on anyone. I just think it's better for the fighters if you guys are able to do that sort of thing, and then we could see the biggest fights possible. Now, the other interesting thing that came out is that you're going to be fighting at 165 pounds. And I love this because there are so many different promotions out there right now trying to make a name for themselves. And back in the day, for example, Strikeforce, how did they differentiate themselves from the UFC? They had a women's division. UFC didn't. So that was their thing. No one's gone after 165, 175. And with so many promotions and fighters, it's hard to be different. That's one way to be different. And right off the bat, you see the reaction to this. It's great. People love it. And you're the perfect guy to head that up. Was that your decision? Was that your idea? Or was that their idea that they pitched to you?
It was their idea.
Wow.
And that made it even make more sense for me, you know? It's like, okay, I see y'all are forward thinking, you know, you're not just going to do the conventional same old and just try and outcompete somebody else. Like, no, let's think outside the box here. 165 is something that it's inevitable. I mean, this is the first one. This is the inaugural. I'll be the first champ. So it's a bit of history there. I think after a while, we're going to look back on times like this and there's an established lineage of 165 champions, just the same way it was with 155. Something that's boxing's done, right? They add these new weight classes, and then people become champion, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, there's a lineage here. So this is the start of that.
Wow, I love that. So is it 165 only for you, or are you going to bounce around?
No, it's 65. 65's home. Yeah, it fits well for me, you know. I don't have to worry about cutting that massive amount of weight anymore. And I'm the best man in the world who's willing to step in at 165.
And so your debut is going to be March 11th?
Yep. Any
idea who the opponent will be?
No, we're not set on an opponent yet. Some names have been bounced around. Diego Sanchez is a name that's been bounced around. There's a couple other guys that they may have their eyes on. I think they're going to make some big signings pretty soon. So we'll determine the opponent.
Okay.
The most important thing is I'm gonna put together a highlight reel and entertain the people.
Are you going to fight for a belt right off the bat, or are they going to build up the division first?
No, I think it makes sense to build up the division first, to have a few fights first, and then fight for a title. That's what I would want too. It just secures the championship even more.
It seems like their American operation is going to be based in Miami, which is where you are right now. They've got this arena, the FLX arena. I think that's where the fights are going to air. And I noticed that at the press conference, you said you're going to relocate to Miami. Yep. Why?
To be a part, this is new home now. If my octagon is here, if my hexagon now, I guess, if that's here, then my whole life will be here. So I'll go ahead and relocate. I'll still work with TriStar and Faraz Zahabi. That's going to be a relationship that we're going to have to establish and get going. But the rest of everything that I have will move over from Vegas down here to Miami. And if I can be half as big in Miami as I did in Vegas, then the world is my oyster,
Yeah. So
Scarface.
Where you gonna train?
With Sanford MMA. I've been up there a few times. I like the energy in the gym. They've got the right training partners. So.
Wow, this is fascinating. Who's going to be your head coach?
Faraz Zahabi is still my head coach.
Okay.
He's still the man that I go to when I really need that kind of guidance. But like I said, we're going to set up how the relationship will work if I'm going to go there for camps or I'm not entirely sure on that. A couple people have already done it. Like Roy McDonald has trained at TriStar and here at Sanford at the same time. So I think that relation, that kind of connection is already open. And obviously I'm still, if I'm ever in Vegas, I'm still going to train with Extreme Couture. I'm still going to train with Eric Nixick. I mean, Henry Hoof loves Nixick. There's a mutual relationship there. So it's a small world that we live in.
How do you feel about leaving Vegas? Mixed emotions? How do you feel about that?
It's bittersweet. I've gained a lot of like healthy and good relationships over all these years. All the training partners, all the coaches, all the people that work for the UFC. That's one of the hard parts about leaving there is I had a lot of people I had to text and say, I'll see you when I see you. But it's bittersweet, but honestly, it's kind of necessary for me to move on and kind of grow and use all the stuff that I learned in those relationships towards the next ones.
By the way, when you came on the show and said that, you didn't get a call and all this stuff, did you hear anything afterwards? Text, DM?
I spoke with Hunter. I think was that after?
You said it was right. You said you reached out to him. You said you reached out to him. You tracked him down. You got his number and all that stuff.
Yeah. I spoke with Hunter, but nothing else since then. I'm not that bitter about it. It's all right. I could sit up there and be like, oh, I did this, and I gave you Tony Ferguson, and I made Charles for you, and I shed all this blood, and I did X, Y, and Z. I could do that forever, right? They could probably do the same thing, but at this point, it's not necessary, and there's really no benefit in doing that. I learned a lot from them. I gave a lot to the company. They did a lot for me in return, and we'll move on from there. And I wish them the best of luck.
You mentioned, having the conversation with Ali Abdelaziz, who's obviously the longtime manager of Khabib, who's a part of this. I mean, he's on the opposite side of your management team, and you've talked about him as well. What's it like doing business with him?
Yeah, that's a different dynamic,
Yeah.
That's different. That's different. Ali's a good guy though. He's never been. He's a solid individual. So. This will be a very fun and lucrative relationship that we start and that we continue.
So no, I mean, that's not strange for you. No hesitation, no nothing. There were no concerns there, or maybe there were initially that you had to get over. Did you have to hash anything out? Talk about anything
between me and Ali? You mean?
Yeah.
No. There's never been anything like that. No, it's solid. I think it's a mutual respect for sure. And there's even a mutual respect between him and my management. But I know I still have the people with me that are with me. You know what I mean? CAA and Markel, they're really with me. So that gives me a little bit of comfort in any type of negotiations or however that we have.
I'm going to ask you, maybe somewhat of a uncomfortable question, and I hope that you can appreciate it because of what we surmised, that maybe you were kind of caught in the crossfire of a political war, if you will, between the UFC and CAA and your management and the UFC. Was there any part of you after the way in which you were let go who thought that maybe you should leave them as well?
That I should leave CAA?
Yeah.
No. No, I'm a loyal, loyalty and respect meaning a lot to me, and a lot more than money even. So when people do kind of show their real colors, their true colors, then it just shows how that person is. But it's not going to make me change how I am. So by them, cutting me and making up bullshit excuses for it, it's not gonna make me turn on the people that's really with me, and it's a learning, growing process. I would feel the same way if they didn't turn their back on me when I lost, when I was hands down for sure that I was gonna win. So why would I do the same, just for missteps? In politics, things happen. These things happen. Like, sometimes people ain't gonna like what you got to say. If as long as your intentions is true and right, well then I'm gonna stand by you, and we gonna ride the wave and see how I go.
I had a feeling you would say that, but I was just curious, and I wanted to ask the question. I know that the deal is different.
Not only that, but let me just expand on it a little bit. Us in the MMA world, like, it's a small world that we live in. You know what I mean? But it's a big ass world outside, a huge world outside. So that's kind of where my eyes are too. I'm not just stuck in this. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of shit you can do in this world.
You're talking
about
a lot
of money to be made. I'm a prize fighter,
right? Opportunities, maybe even outside of fighting as well, is what you're referring to. I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And how you treat people goes a very long way. If you turn your back on somebody just because somebody else don't like them, like, what? That's you're gonna turn off the wrong people very quickly. Mm-hmm. Integrity and morals mean a whole lot more than some bullshit ass dream or something.
I know this deal is a little bit different because of the Bitcoin component, but would you say it's a more lucrative deal than the one you had with the UFC that you were just released from?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much everything about it is better than my UFC deal.
Really?
Pretty much everything.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the only difference is that there's no PI.
Right.
What the fuck does that mean to me? I don't know. Even their facility that they're running the FLX arena out of it's beautiful. It's got everything in it that you would need. It's got studios. They're thinking outside the box. They got a lot more freedom to do things. There was nothing about the UFC that was better, to be honest with you. Maybe the eyeballs.
Right.
For fighting on ESPN, that's big. But a lot of guys are getting lost in the shuffle these days. Mm-hmm. I feel like even in my last fight, kind of got lost in the shuffle. So even that's kind of getting taken away. It's honestly, it was better all around the board. Free agency is amazing.
And you can get sponsors, right? You can wear sponsors in the cage. Is that all? What's their policy?
Exactly. Yeah, I can wear sponsors. Like I said, partnering with Bitcoin or making this deal in Bitcoin is going to raise so many sponsors just off of that alone.
Yeah.
So I'm able to wear them in the cage again, which I feel like people have almost forgotten how valuable that is. Which kudos on the UFC for doing that. They kind of made people forget just how valuable it is to wear the sponsorship in the cage. These fights live forever. Mm-hmm. The fights live on forever. People go back and watch old Mike Tyson fights right now. And they see old sponsorships on his shorts. And, we all remember Condom Depot and shit like that from early UFC. So I think that is huge, you know?
So a couple of weeks ago, like I said, you handled it very well. I thought you handled it really, really well. You were obviously upset, but you didn't burn bridges. You weren't disrespectful, but it was clear that you were a little bit down and upset. Can you describe now on this day where you're unveiled, you're made out to be a big deal, you're up there with Khabib, you're the sort of, you know, star signing for this new era and this promotion that has already put on 43 events. So there's no, they're no spring chicken. They know what they're doing. You're the guy. You were the featured person, right? Alongside the likes of Rashad Evans and Tyrone Spong. Everyone's talking about Kevin Lee today. How do you feel today on this December 15th after the past month that you've had?
Centered, you know. I feel very at peace. You know, it seems like everything always happens for a reason, right? Everything you can kind of look back at your life, and that's what I do sometimes. I look back at my life and say, okay, how did I end up here? And I realize it's all kind of coming together. You know, I got my body right. I healed from my surgeries. I healed from the alcoholism. I healed from the pills. And then now it's like, okay, now I can actually truly blossom and become what I'm supposed to, and not rely on somebody else to do that. So I feel great about it. I feel great. I feel like respected.
I love that. That's a great word. That's a great word to end on. It's great that you're getting that respect that you deserve. I think the MMA community is really happy for you. I don't think a lot of people saw this coming. I didn't think they thought that it was like an actual real thing when it was first bandied about. So kudos to you for the curveball and to them as well. And I can't wait to see what you do over there. And honestly, like, I will just say this. I wouldn't say anything, you know, behind your back or on the show that I wouldn't say to you. When I first heard about this, not you joining them, Eagle FC, you know, making this big push, there's reservations that I have, if only because in boxing, management can't run a promotion. It's different, right? So like the idea of like an Ali calling you to cut a deal can't happen in the world of boxing. So
sure,
MMA is different. MMA gets to play by a different set of rules. I'm not saying it's illegal here. It's absolutely not. It is legal. There's nothing wrong with it. It could bring out some conflicts, but it's absolutely legal. I'm a huge proponent and a huge fan of options for fighters. Players, different players.
Right.
There can't just be one. And so someone like this popping up and giving you a big time deal and thinking outside the box is huge for not only you, but the fighters and the sport as well. So I'm really happy for you. And I give you a lot of props for thinking outside the box and not going the traditional route to the traditional players, going a different route, because I think they're going to treat you really good and treat you like the big star that you are and the big fish that you are. So well done, my man.
Yeah, well said, well said. I mean, this is an unpredictable ass sport.
Yes.
If anything, we kind of know that. After watching for so long, this shit is unpredictable. The fights, the promotions, the everything about it. So you never know what's going to happen. But as long as you just keep working at it, something good is bound to happen, right?
Yeah, for sure. By the way,
so this is one of those things that's bound to happen.
Absolutely. Can I just ask you before I let you go, since you know Charles very well, were you surprised he beat Dustin?
Yeah. No, I wasn't surprised at all.
Right.
I know he's the best lightweight. You know, I didn't even know that when we fought until midway through the second round, and then I was like, oh, this dude is legit. Like he's gonna keep coming. And you can tell he knows what moves to hit next, you know. Some people will just kind of keep going and not know what to do, but he steps above and he doesn't stop. You're gonna have to put his lights out to get him to stop. In the third round of that fight, I kicked him dead in the head with a right kick, about as hard as I can kick somebody, and he kept fucking coming. And I was like, wow, okay, all right. He went to the next combination. That's hard to deal with. So it wouldn't surprise me if he beat anybody in the world.
Wow.
At 155 pounds. But at 165,
let's go. There's a new bigger, king of the 165 pound division. Now we have to figure out what we're going to call it. Come on.
Did you forget? I don't know. You're a smart man, Ariel. What should we call it? Are we going with light welterweight or are we going with
what about super lightweight?
Super lightweight.
Super lightweight.
I like super lightweight a lot better.
Yeah. I wish there was a standalone
I'm a big Dragon
name.
Ball Z fan.
I wish there was a stand, you know, because there's like no supers in MMA. There's bantamweight, welterweight, but I don't know if we can think of something. Then what happens is 75 just going to be welterweight? Yeah, 75 could just be welterweight. Yeah, I say we go with super lightweight.
Super lightweight. I love lightweight.
All right,
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kevin.
Super lightweight. I'll go Super Saiyan on.
Let's go. Yeah, that's right. Much respect, my man. Congratulations. Thanks for jumping in on short notice. I appreciate you very much. Happy holidays. And again, way to go. Way to turn this negative into a positive. Way to level up, my man.
One love, Ariel.
That's right.
One love.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Take care, Kevin. There he is, the Motown Phenom, the newest member of the Eagle FC promotion.